Peace, love, light, and healing. Peace. Blessings, family. Let me make sure we good over here. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm live and in full effect. We're going to get this thing started. Blessings, blessings, family. Okay, I can hear myself well. I can see myself well. Let me check my Facebook. And I see we live on Facebook as well. Peace, peace. Y'all climb on in, family. Let me charge this phone because I'm most definitely going to be doing online calls when we done. Y'all going to be able to call in the line. Y'all climb on in this deal. Peace, peace. Y'all see what we got on the board today? We just talking about basically don't let these people tell you you can't be healed. You deserve healing. And, you know, nature offer us some amazing gifts, family. Nature offer us some amazing gifts. And if you just utilize these gifts and if you see them, you have to change your perception a little bit. But if you change your perception of reality and you really look deep within to nature and you start tapping into your healing spiritual tool bag, I'm telling you, there is nothing that you're going through that cannot be reversed. We have been lied by a people. We have been bamboozled by a people. The actual curricular books is a lie. All the scientist books is a lie. These allopathic books that you go into school to become doctors with, all of these things are lies, and they fail to look at the other side of the coin, and that's the reason why a lot of us is dying. So y'all climb on in. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Blessings, blessings. Shalom Lakai, y'all. I know I ain't been on live, especially on YouTube in a minute, man. I've been doing a lot. We've been farming. We growing our own food. We writing books. We shoot Netflix series. I'm getting the classes ready. I'm literally doing like 100 things at one time, family. So I'm trying to manage my time wisely. Y'all climb on in, climb on in. Blessings, blessings, y'all. And, of course, we got a lot of questions today that we're going to be going through. If you can hear me and if you can see me, type in some nines. If you can hear me and if you can see me, type in some nines, and we're going to get this started. Let's talk about it. Make sure you got your pens and your pads. We're going to go in today. We're going to pull out some anatomy models, and we just finna go in, family. So if you can hear me and see me, type in some nines. Yes, y'all. Yes, yes. Everybody talking about Philly. We're going to be in Philly. We're going to actually be in Philly July the 30th. July the 30th, we're going to be in Philly. Matter of fact, let me show y'all that real quick, and then we're going to get to it. So here we go right here. So we're going to be in Philadelphia July the 30th. What you can do is you can go to Eventbrite and click on Yaki-Awaken-Health Liberation Tour hosted by Hands On Healing, and it'll pop up. Tickets is going. All of the VIPs is sold out. So I probably think it's only one left if it's even that. And then get y'all tickets, man. We're going to be at the Map Philly, a big old theater, amazing theater. We're going to be there. We're talking about health, wealth. I am bringing tons of seeds, just like I brought a lot of seeds to Atlanta. So make sure y'all come out and y'all support. Y'all, those that came to Atlanta conference and got all of my seeds, y'all was supposed to be posting them after you put them in the dirt, y'all. I see a lot of y'all haven't done that yet. So that means y'all ain't growing this stuff. Make sure that y'all are using the seeds. The one thing I don't want to do as a farmer and as a person that grow his own food is to be giving y'all these seeds that, you know, we have cultivated or that literally cost me an arm and a leg to get from somebody. And then I give it to you for free. And the only thing you have to do is plant your stuff and yield seeds from it and send it back. And y'all don't post them. Y'all don't utilize them. Y'all don't put them in the dirt or nothing. And I understand, you know, it depends on the growing zone you in. And some people can't actually plant seeds or soil where they at. I get that. But come on, y'all. If y'all getting these free seeds, I went through hell to hot water to accumulate thousands and thousands of seeds. The least you can do is plant them. Even if you start the seedlings in your house, if you start them in a greenhouse, if you start them somewhere warm and put a UV light on them until they sprout, and then you can take them outside to plant them. But all I'm saying is this: if I'm giving y'all all this free stuff that wasn't free for me, please utilize them and actually use them and show proof that you using them. That's what we asked for y'all to do. Atlanta, we did the same thing for Detroit. We did them everywhere we go. If I'm giving you seeds, family, this is for free. You don't got to pay me nothing. The only thing you got to do is pay yourself, which is by doing the hard labor and putting these seeds in the ground. If we doing all that, family, take pictures of it, post it, tag me in it, something, you know what I'm saying? And send pictures of you actually doing the work, because that wouldn't motivate other people to start growing their own food. You see what I'm saying? That's it. All right, I see y'all can hear me. Yes, most definitely. July the 30th, I'm bringing seeds. I'm bringing all of my herbs, everything. So make sure y'all click that link and buy some tickets. So what we talking about today is basically how we have let a people rob us from our bodies naturally healing itself. We have let a people basically turn our worlds upside down when it comes to healing. You know, back in the day, our grandmas, our great grandmas, our grandfathers, our great grandfathers, our indigenous tribes of America, the indigenous tribes of Africa, we all knew that nature heals us. We all knew that if we get certain types of symptomologies or we get certain type of side effects from something, all we had to do is go into nature and pick herbs and change our diet up, and our bodies will help the elimination process, and we will heal ourselves of whatever disease we were suffering from. Between that time and now, here in 2023, it seems like there's a new perception that have been waged upon our people, that have been oppressed upon our perception of reality, that we catch things now that we can't get rid of, and we just give in, we just give up, and we let this so-called disease just take control of us. And in the long run, we end up falling victims to the allopathic community, and we start dying from the side effects of the medicines. But I'm here to tell you that don't let nobody trick you out of your body's natural capability of healing itself. Don't let nobody bamboozle you out of your body intelligence. Don't let nobody bamboozle you out of your ancient mitochondria DNA, out of your ancient mitochondria organelles that make up your cells. You are nature, and nature heals itself. And if you are a reflection of nature, and if you're an olive branch that spring forth from nature, then you can heal yourself too. And as I talk about all the time, we see that when we get scratches, we see that when we break a bone, our bones grow back. When we get a scratch, or we get some type of eruption or breakage in our epithelial layers of our skin tissues, it grow back. We see that the blood would naturally clot itself up. We see from there we will get an overlaying scab, and we see once that scab peels, there's new flesh or new skin cells under that scab, and then even that off pigmentation becomes back to its regular melanin pigmentation, and it's like that scab or that scar never exists. So if we see that the outside of our bodies, or what you would call the external epithelial layer of our skin, can heal itself, if we see that our internal bones can reconstruct themselves and regrow themselves from being broken or fractured, then of course our eternal or internal organs can do the same thing. All we have to do is start making this knowledge very practical, and we have to start making it, we got to simplify the information. There's too many intellectuals in the healing industry right now, and there's not enough doers. There's not enough people that's experiencing the healing. There's too many people talking about eating fruits, but there's not a lot of people actually eating fruits. There's too many people talking about herbs, but there's not a lot of people actually taking them herbs for themselves. And I used to hear this from my great grandma Bessie, which was an old Blackfoot Indian. I used to sit at her lap, and I used to rub her feet while she chewed tobacco with her Indian pigtails, and she used to give me these little buffalo nickels back then. The buffalo nickels probably worth $1 million now. She used to give them to me. I used to sit at her legs, and she used to tell me her old Indian stories. She used to tell me about slavery and all of these things, but she used to drop jewels on me every day that I went over Grandma Betsy's house. And she used to always talk about the healing of native herbs of America, and how she used to take all of these herbs, and how she was chewing. She used to chew tobacco, but she used to always talk about eating coatfoot, eating mullein, and eating all these different herbs that cleanse the lungs. And it didn't register to me back then, like, dang, she's obviously eating something that's hurting her lungs, but she's bringing something else in that's helping expectorate her lungs. We have lost these remedies, and it's time to actually get these remedies back. You are nature. You are a reflection of nature. You are a part of nature. We see nature don't have a doctor at all. Nature don't have band-aids. Natures don't have doctors. Natures don't have surgeries. Natures don't have none of this. If something breaks in nature, it decomposes and it renews itself. If a tree falls in nature, it becomes a part of the ecological system. Mold is set in, fungus is set in, the mycorrhizal network will come in, bacteria come in, it will break down this tree. This tree would then become part of the actual fungus family. The fungus family will become part of the soil, and then through this fertilization of soil, by that broken living tree, new life spring forth from it, showing you that we can actually regenerate ourselves because nature regenerates itself every single day, family. So I'm just here to tell you, you deserve healing. Can't nobody take that from you. That is a natural gift that God created within you. That's a natural healing phenomenon, a natural healing mechanism that is inside of your cells. Your body was created to heal itself. We just have to start recreating the environment and change our perception of what we call disease. And I'm here to do that today, family. So make sure that y'all get y'all papers, y'all pens, and everything out. And shouts out to the person that disliked this video. Shouts out to you, my hater. Shouts out to you. All right, let's get it. If y'all ready to get this started, let's type in some 9s. Get your pens and your pads off. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yes, and you cannot separate spirituality from physical healing. It is all one and the same. Your spirit or your breath form body is actually guided by light. The light form or this gasified form actually come from the rays of the sun. And as you see, the reason why I'm saying that the textbooks is a lie. The textbooks always talk about the mitochondria. The textbooks always talk about ATP, but they don't tell you what fuels the mitochondria, and they don't tell you what fuels ATP. These are fueled by water, and this water is called H3O. This H3O is actually formed by H3O2 hydrogen bonds that's inside of the cells once you drink juice or you drink actually structured water. This water that's inside your cells that look like a gel substance is once light penetrates it, it actually forms the movement of your cells. It folds proteins. It does everything inside of the living mechanism. And it makes sense on why they trying to block out the sun or why they spraying chemtrails everywhere and trying to basically block out these radioactive sun rays, or what they call UV rays, or this infrared natural light that come from the sun, because every different cell and mechanism in your body actually need this natural infrared light that comes by the sun to stimulate all your cells to bring structure function to every living cell inside of your body. And that's what I was talking about, that we need to change the textbooks, and that the textbooks have been lying to us, because just like plants go through something called photosynthesis, our human beings, especially black melanated beings, we go through something called photonic biosynthesis. Literally means we need the sun for our cells to do structure, function, movement. I'm talking about simple movements, simple signals that come from the environment, come from photons. And these are little bitty light particles that is actually given to us by the sun. Without these light particles, you would not have a signal. Without the signal to your cells, these so-called proteins, or what I would call simple amino acid structures, cannot fold. Without this folding of these simple amino acid structures, there will not be any movement or life. So we need light, family. That's why we are a solar people, and we come from light. That's why I say that we are truly children of the sun. Whether you want to metaphysicalize it and say we children of the son of God, or whether you want to be physical and say we children of the sun that's in the sky, I'm talking about that same high vibrational resonant frequency that brings your consciousness and your body into coherence. And that is what actually gives you what you would call homeostasis, or what we're going to call your good health. It's all by light. And we're missing the light energy because we're in a corrupted environment. You got to think about what they're doing. They're spraying the skies every single day, chemtrails. And if you look inside these chemtrails, there's a bunch of metal and aluminum in there, and the metal and aluminum actually is blocking out the sun. Not only that, you got the Bill Gates project. It used to be the Bill and Melinda Gates projects, but now it's just the Bill Gates projects, where he literally trying to block out the sun. Then you see him spraying the crops with herbicides, insecticides, and pesticides. When you look inside of these are sun blockers that keep your own plants going through photosynthesis. Then you see all these different products that they pushing on us, like the lotions, the deodorants, the perfumes, the colognes. All these things is used as a coat to actually block your cells and your melanocytes from the sun. It seems like they're trying to kill the sun because they know without the sun, we as a people cannot survive, because we depend on the sun and the sun depend on us. See that? So a lot of people, we need a battery, y'all. Your cells need a battery. Your cells actually have something called a 0.07 watts in them. This watts need to be charged, just like your cell phone need to be charged, just like your Apple Watch need to be charged. Your cells need to be charged too. Guess what charges your cells? It's not only the food and the nutrients that we bring into our body, but it is infrared natural sun rays that come from the sun, family. And that's the reason why we are sun people. And if you or brown skin, if you are indigenous to your land, your black self need to be in the sun at least an hour or two a day. Seriously. Let's get to it. All right, if y'all ready, let's get it started. Let me know you got your pens and your pads. Type in some nines and we're going to get this started. Let's get this started. Let's get some learning in today. I'm excited to be back live. I ain't been live in a minute. And I don't believe that God is going to let that happen either. But, there's nothing wrong with prepping and preparing. We need to be preparing and prepping. I think that consciousness, the good consciousness of people, and I think us unifying, raising our consciousness, coming together as a collective consciousness, or what we call the Christ conscious, which is the return of Hamashiach, the return of the Christ, us raising our vibration to one collective consciousness. That's that Christ consciousness. I believe within net resurrection itself, that's going to stop who we call the devil, or who we call the archons, or who we call these low, dark thought form frequencies, or who we call the great alien shapeshift, whatever you want to call them. I think that is going to actually stop all of the stuff that they're planning. So I don't believe that their agenda is going to play out either, as long as we keep rising, as long as we keep resurrecting, and as long as we come together as a infinite collective whole and use our intelligence and use our heart chakra and open up that love and really start loving our brother as we love ourselves and love our sisters as we love ourselves. I don't believe it's going to happen either. We are here to raise the vibrational consciousness of earth. And how you do that is with high vibratory things. Herbs is high in vibratory resonant frequencies. Fruits is very high in electrical magnetic frequencies. Being in nature is high. Once we start connecting ourselves back to these things and charge ourselves up, we can really pivot and fuel our consciousness to expand beyond this physical. And once we get to that point, that's when we can really start changing things in the energetic dimensions. See, we thinking this is all physical, but it's not. This is high warfare in high corrupted places. This is spiritual warfare. But we need to project our consciousness in that spiritual plane for we can fight this war. It's impossible to do that if you eating meat all day, if you stuffing your body with dairy products all day, if you stuffing your body with pornography, and you just only thing you want to do is bone and hump and be stuck to your sacral chakra and bust nuts all day. If you stuck in television programming, watching TV all day, if your life consists of playing video games all day, not knocking you if you're doing any of these things, but if you're doing these things too much, it's distracting you from this fight. And we need as many soldiers as ever, because right now it looks like the dark side is winning. You know what I'm saying? It looks like the dark side is winning. And if you don't believe me, just turn on your television. If you don't believe me, just get on social media. Look at the distraction. Look at what we talking about. Look at what we doing. Look at the things that we are giving our focus, our attention, and our energy to. It is not high resonant frequency at all. And if we do not raise our vibration and upgrade to the 5D, as this plane, or what we call Earth, is updating itself to this 5 dimension of density, this space that we are literally expanding to, then we gonna be left behind. And y'all see what happens when a computer software update itself. Sometimes the mainframe doesn't update with the computer, and you literally got to get rid of the whole computer and buy a new one. Don't let that be us. Or like same thing with your Apple phone. Have you ever had an Apple phone that tried to hard update itself and it never kicked back on because you didn't update it when it was supposed to when it was supposed to be updated? So you got to take your Apple phone in and they got to give you a whole new Apple phone because the phone never stopped trying to update because you missed the update mark. We have to realize that we are technology. We are biological technology. We are hardware. We are software. We have a left and a right hemisphere. We have a positive and a negative. We have ions and we have cations. We are biological batteries, y'all. Batteries need charge, and then we have software and main hardware to the batteries, what you call the vehicles or the avatars, that needs to be updated all the time. And guess what your updating software is? Eating intelligent food, having intelligent conversation, being around people that truly love you, making sure that you're in alignment with your glandular highway, what people call the chakras. You see that? Having some type of spirituality practice or spiritual practice, being self-motivated, self-fueled, and being around family and love. These things, nutrition, love, laughter, herbs, A high yielding fruit diet will all help you upgrade. And last but not least, reading you some books to stimulate this big old muscle that we call a brain. That should be our main focus, y'all. We're focused on the wrong things. And if you focus on the wrong things, you're going to look up and you're going to be left behind. And these are just the facts. You can get on here, you can laugh all you want, but that's what's going to happen. All right, now check this out, y'all. Here go the first question. So the first question says, let me get to it. All right, here go the first question, y'all. It says, hi, my name is Blase Blase. I am from New York. I am 34 years old. My boyfriend put me onto your videos since he watches you all the time. And he knows how much it means to me to go alkaline since I've been dealing with health crisis. Okay, so I see that you went alkaline since you felt your body having these symptoms. So I can tell you automatically, I'll give you a round of applause for that. So, and this is one of the first parts of actually changing your perception. Notice that she started having health crisis. She didn't immediately just go to the doctors. She didn't immediately just go to talk to higher ups to tell them about what's going on within her body. She automatically knew that she had to change her environment. And the first part of the environment she needed to change was her actual diet. So she changed her diet to a livid and she went alkaline. So that's super, super dope. It says, I am not sure where to start. So I apologize for my typos. My situation got worse in 2020. Long story short, I started with chronic gastritis for nearly 2 years. And it says I did not know about any of this information until I knew. See that? So first thing she got is chronic gastritis. So we already know what chronic gastritis is. Chronic means that it's getting into the stage, it's almost to a degenerative stage. So whenever you look at disease from the textbook, see, I'm so far away from the textbooks and coming with a new perception of this, but I still have to give you the textbook diagnoses and definitions for you can see what they're talking about. Then once I change your perception, you can be like, oh man, so that's all they was talking about. So whenever you see chronic, disease sets itself up into 4 stages. You have subacute, then you have acute. So once you go to subacute to acute, from there, you go into this chronic latency disease. From the chronic disease, you go into deterioration. So the last disease is deterioration. The first disease is your subacute. So she says she's chronic. If you're chronic, that means you're one step away from being into a degenerative stage of dis-ease. And usually the degenerative stage is when the tissues of the cells and the organelles that's inside the cells starts decomposing and breaking down due to metabolic acidosis, or the acids is literally sitting on the cells and the lymphatic system is not working properly, so it can't get the corroded acids up off the cells. So the acid starts to penetrate the cells and break down the cells along with something you would call ROS species or free radicals. So we see that she's in a chronic stage. So if you got chronic gastritis, that means you got one more level, and then you had degenerative gastritis. Then we see gastro come from gastrointestines. That's the actual intestines, the small and the large intestines. Itis just means inflammation. Well, if you've been listening to me for these last couple of years, we understand that inflammation is a part of the body's natural detoxification mechanism. The body gets inflamed when the body needs to localize an area for you can get a fever, or for you can bring circulation to that place, for you can get nutrients to that place, oxygen to that place, or what you would call natural sun rays to that place to actually heal up that level, heal up or buffer out acids to bring the body into a state of homeostasis. So whenever I hear itis or inflammation, I automatically give a round of applause, because that means your body is working properly. Imagine a body that doesn't go through inflammation. That is a sick body. That's a dead body, because a body that gets inflamed, that means the localization of an area. That shows me that my body is intelligent enough to put up roadblocks from this high speed chase, for this car won't go into innocent places and kill innocent bystanders. See that? So that's what inflammation is. It's basically when your so-called immunological system, or what I'm going to call the lymphatic defense system, gets alerted, and it puts up roadblocks for the getaway driver won't start driving in a school zone and hitting innocent children. So it'll put up roadblocks to localize and shut off the area. That way you can find a perpetrator faster. That's all inflammation is in the body. So when you look at it from that type of ideology, we see that the body is trying to heal itself, and it has this body intelligence and is smart enough to know what it's doing. But what the allopathic community would do is you would take this inflammation and you look in the textbooks. The textbooks would tell you it's an itis. The itis would tell you it's some kind of disease. So then you go to the allopathic allopathic community, and the allopathic community will prescribe you treatment and medicine from this disease when you never needed that in the first place, because the inflammation itself is the treatment and is the so-called medicine. It's all about the perception and how we view disease. And this is why I'm telling you, let's quit letting people rob us of our body's natural abilities to heal itself. Let's not let people bamboozle us out of our natural gift that God gave us. Let's not let a people trick us out of us being a reflection of nature. And if you go to nature, you see nature have its own way of detoxifying itself every single day. So since when these things have been flipped upside down and we have bought into the lie and the propaganda, when we see our bodies doing this natural thing, which is healing itself every single day, rinsing 150 trillion cells every single day. And of course, all this energy is going to bring on some type of symptomologies. Since when have these symptomologies became disease? Since when? This is something new here. This is a new concept. Because they went in the early 1800s, they weren't talking about this. This is new. This is a new concept, y'all. We just so new to the game, and we've been so brainwashed that we think disease been existing before the beginning of time. No, the symptoms that we have been taught that disease have been existing before the beginning of time. But back then, they wouldn't calling it disease. They were saying my body is naturally healing itself. So we see that she has some discomfort in her gastrointestines, right? And it says for nearly 2 years and did not know anything about the information I knew now. However, I believe I haven't healed from gastritis issues. In January 2020, I complained about loss of circulation after having bad symptoms of COVID. I was dealing with major sinus issues. See, so now we got sinus issues. The body is expectorating, inflamed sinuses. Sinuses fills up with mucus. Mucus is not the cause of the disease. Mucus is actually a mechanism that helps the body defend itself. So we see mucus filling up in the sinus cavities, basically the maxillary cavities. That means you finna start expectorating. So you finna start sneezing. You finna start coughing. Your eyes finna start developing boogers. Your ears are gonna start developing earwax. You might get dandruff from your hair. This is the body purging itself of any toxemia that you have in the environment for either eating the wrong food, not being in the sun long enough, being dehydrated, or not having enough oxygen to supply to the cells of the body. The body is going to try its hardest to get anything that's blocking off the oxygen from getting in, the phytonutrients from getting in, the sun rays from getting in. And usually when the body's pushing these things out, this is what you would call a sinus infection. You would call it a fever. You would call it all these different symptoms, which is your body healing itself, family. And I'm going to scream this to the rooftop every day. I don't care if y'all tired of hearing this. I'm going to keep saying it until y'all are able to regurgitate this and say it off your hand. Y'all remember every word I say. As soon as these symptoms happen to you, you're reprogrammed enough to know that your body is actually intelligent and your body is not fighting against itself. You're not in this war with God's precious cells. You're not in this war with the limbs of your body. You're not in this war with your breast. So you got breast cancer. So now you got to get your whole breast cut off. You got to get a hysterectomy, a mastectomy. We not at war with our bodies. Our bodies is smart. Since when have our bodies become enemies? That don't make sense. That's a war within. God didn't create your body to be that way. So you're going to have to choose a side. It's either you believe in God, you believe in nature, and you know that God made you perfect and every cell in your body perfect and all the mechanisms in your body work properly, and he created a fail-safe system inside of your vehicle, or God hates you. Because the allopathic community thinks God hate them. God hate us. God created bacteria. Bacteria causes disease. So we got to go to war with bacteria. We got to kill bacteria. We got to sanitize bacteria. We got to get antibiotics, which means against life. We got to cut out infected bacterias. When you go back to nature's perception, bacteria is a good thing. Bacteria eats acids. And the reason why bacteria is over-culturalizing in a location in my body is because that location of my body have accumulated a coagulation of acids. So since the acids is there and bacteria eats acids, guess what's going to happen? The bacteria is going to overpopulate to do their job, which is to be the trash cans and eat the acids. See that? It's two perceptions. One perception is bacteria is killing me, so I got to go to war against my body. The other perception is bacteria is helping my body eliminate trash. So how about I get on the right diet and get on the right herbs to help this elimination process? These are two total different beliefs and perspectives, and based on which one you believe and which one you follow is a life and death decision, family. These are facts. These are the facts. Based on which one you believe in, it's going to determine whether you hack off a limb and kill the enemy, because you know you've been taught that your body is an enemy, or you're going to love your body because you know it works properly, and you're going to help eliminate by detoxifying, getting on an all fruit diet, bringing your hydration to H2O to H3O2, limiting the H2O while you cleansing, and then you're going to expectorate and expel these things out the body to speed up and expedite the detoxification mechanism that is sitting in that's causing the symptoms in the first place, which is really your body healing. It's a difference. And based off of your perception, based off of your belief, is whether you going to heal or you going to be killed. If y'all get what I'm saying so far, type in some nines. If y'all get what I'm saying so far, type in some nines. So all your Kyle or Yaki is trying to do is change your perception. That's the reason why the book Healing the Illusion We Call Disease, which will be out this year, I promise you that, is going to change the world. We have to get rid of the regular textbooks. We have been lied to. The science textbooks is full of shit, family. Straight up. It's full of shit. The biochemistry textbooks, full of shit. I'm a biochemist. I went through all those classes. Went through all of them. Homeopathy, allopathy, full of holes. All is full of theories. Nothing has been proven. Last but not least, water. We think we know everything about water. H2O, spring. You don't know a damn thing about water. You don't know nothing about water behavior. You don't know nothing about water and different substance, how they interact with each other. We don't know nothing about how hydrogen stacks itself on top of each other, make hydrogen bonds to form an exclusion zone. Through this exclusion zone, you dealing with what you would call hydrophobic or man, there's so many hydrophobic material. Hydrophilic material. Hydrophilic material is loving water material, like the cells that's in your body, like the amino acids that's in your body, and how these things pushes the water and separate the water and causes ionic charge. This ionic charge actually stack more hydrogen ions on top of each other, and it forms a sequence, not H2O, but H3O2. This stuff is proven. But guess what? They don't let people publish this work because now you don't have to sell a product. You can just literally go to nature and eat fruits and heal the body for free of charge. See, so they can't charge you for it. So hell no, you ain't putting that in the publications. You see that? Or you can just go to herbs or grow herbs in your backyard. They don't want you to know that. So they demonize you and they put all these community guidelines up on YouTube and Facebook because as soon as you speak about it, it's free of charge. You can't pay them. You can't make their pockets fair. Hell no, they ain't going to let you publicize it. So no, it's not going to be in publication. It's not going to be in the textbooks. But it's people out here really doing the work. It's independent contractors and independent biochemists out here that have their own accredited laboratories that's really doing the work, that have the paperwork to prove everything we've been taught is a fucking lie. But we are so programmed as a people by these communities and by big pharma industry, by big food industry. They spend trillions of dollars a year to keep you intellectually a slave. You think you intellectual because you know how to regurgitate a fucking book when everything in a book is a damn lie. What do that really make you? That's why we have to be a experiencer and not an educator. I'm not an educator. Educator meaning you're regurgitating somebody else's program into your subconscious mind. I'm not that. I like to experience and practice myself, and then I come up with my own conclusions once I reach my own results from putting in the leg work. It's a difference, family. It's a big difference. So we see that she got chronic gastritis, and she said that she still believes she have the issue. Then she suffered from COVID. Now we see she complained about the loss of circulation in her and the symptoms of COVID. And I was dealing with major sinus issues. So now we see that the sinus issues is kicking in to help expectorate and get mucus out, because guess what? The mucus is picking up on its way out the body. This one thing I love about mucus is it reminds me of my 14-year-old. He don't never leave the house without taking the trash out. He don't never leave the crib without getting that trash. I'm so proud of that boy. He makes sure he helped me with, my 14-year-old make sure he helped me with everything he do. Everything he do. He do not leave the house without taking the trash out. Same thing as mucus. Mucus is going to pick up that trash in the body, collect it from each individual cell of the body, bring it through something called lymphatic vessels, take it through something called a lymph node. Inside the lymph nodes, you have macrophages. These macrophages break down this trash, this toxemia, and these dead cells even more. Then it takes it to the kidneys, and the adrenal glands kick the kidneys on. The kidneys going to go through something called a million nephrons. These nephrons is going to filter all the toxemia out, collect the blood. The blood goes back into the circulatory system, and all the urea and all the used protein, the nitrogen, and all the other bullshit that the body didn't need, along with the dead cells and toxemia, get pushed out through the urinary tract, or the macro actually get pushed back out through your feces. See that? So that means your body is working good. Just like my 14-year-old boy that makes sure that the trash is taken out and the house is cleaned up before he leave. See, and I think this is how we're going to start really learning how the body works. We have to start relating it to shit that we do and know every day. Then you can start knowing how things really functioning. And that's why I use my 14-year-old boy for example, because now we see, damn, okay, mucus act like a child with chores. A child with chores supposed to be cleaning up and doing his job right. From the child cleaning up and doing his job right, he get a weekly allowance, or he just get to keep living for free. Same thing that mucus does when it's inside the body. All right. It says, now my concerns may have moved into a even major problem. I started getting vertigo in April of 2020. Then again within 2 months. And in October, both of my arms started getting spasms, numbness, pins and needles. It sounds like you have a sciatica nerve issue too. And it says, the doctor says I have carpal tunnel. It says, after 2 months, I decided to see the doctors, and they told me I have a herniated disc. So look, y'all, this is all we dealing with. These are all symptomologies, right? We have chronic gastritis. We also not only have chronic gastritis, but we have circulation issues, pins and needles on the nerves. So we got nerve issues. All this sounds like acid to me, but we're going to go through each disease and break them down. Each so-called disease and break them down. Then we got numbness and pins and needles on the nerves and spasms. We see she got carpal tunnel. And now we see that she have a herniated disc in her C5, her C6, her C7, her L4, and her L5. All right, so let's start. And she got vertigo, I mean. All right, so first I want to start off with vertigo. So when you start really getting into what vertigo is basically when you start being in balance because your inner ear, the hair in your inner ear, and the endolymph. Endo means in. Lymph is a part of the fluid that's a part of something called the interstitial fluid of the body, or what you call the lymphatic system. Let me show you how the lymphatic system is linked to everything. And if you can move that lymph, then you won't have these so-called diseases. But the moment that lymph becomes stagnated, it causes all types of problems. What if I told you that vertigo is an endolymph issue? And I'm finna show y'all that. So let's read this one more time. So look, when you actually get into this, you have something called the vestibular system. Look where my ear is. So this is my ear. Let me get my vestibular system. This is a big giant ear, is that? See that? So this is called, I got too much light right there. This is called the vestibular system, y'all. So inside the vestibular system, you actually have something called the semicircular canals. This is the semicircular canals right here. And these semicircular canals actually have something called endolymph that flows around these three little tubes. This is inside your ear. This is a big ass eardrum, no bull. So what happens is if too much lymphatic fluid gets built up or gets stagnated in the semicircular canal, what happens is the vestibular system will become super acidic and it'll start bringing on a lot of pressure. What this pressure would do, because you're basically lymphatically stagnated and blocked up, it will start messing up your vision. Not only will it mess up your vision, but it will stop the communication between your vision and your senses that's in your legs. So you will always feel like you're out of motion. You'll feel like you're always in motion, moving super fast. You'll feel like that you can't keep your balance. You will actually feel like that you finna fall over a lot. And a lot of times people do fall over. You will feel like that you're out of balance the whole time. And you have these little bitty hairs inside of the lymph fluid that actually stimulates this anionic electricity energy that keeps you balanced, but you drown the hairs with the actual endo-lymph fluid inside of these different systems. So if you can clean the vestibular system, which will actually clean what you would call the semicircular canals, which is these three little canals right here, you can actually regulate the lymph. The lymph can go back to the lymphatic system once you get all the acids out of these areas, because lymph and mucus is only coming to a place where there's acids at. So if you actually get rid of the acids, guess what you get rid of? The lymph. If you get rid of the acids, guess what you get rid of? The bacteria. If you get rid of the acids, guess what you get rid of? The parasites. If you get rid of the acids, guess what you get rid of? All these different byproducts of the body trying to clean the acids out, or what you will call symptoms. These symptoms are then called diseases. One of these symptoms are called vertigo. But is vertigo really a disorder, or is it just acids being in the ear and then endo-lymph is starting to accumulate inside the ear to get rid of the acids? That's what I'm saying. We have to start changing our perception. So the first thing you have to do is cleanse the lymphatic system, because in order to cleanse the lymphatic system, which is the lymphatic system of the brain, we talk about this all the time, so y'all know exactly what I'm finna say. You have to clean the actual lymphatic system. All right, let's see what else this thing is talking about. All right, also it's talking about sciatica nerve. So when you look at the sciatic nerve, this is actually a pelvis right here. All right, and then you see the pelvic floor. All right, well, if you turn this spinal cord around, these are called discs on the spinal cord. All right, you got your actual L5, your L4, you got your S1, your S2, your S3, and your S4. All right, well, if you look at these things actually form what you would call a nerve branch. The nerve branch then go through the pelvis floor, and it goes through a muscle through your thigh, and it goes down your legs. The sciatic nerve is about 2 millimeters wide, so it's a pretty thick actual nerve that's in the body. Usually what happens is these discs starts to wear out and it becomes a bulging disc. And what happened is when these discs wear out due to acidosis and very stagnant dehydration, it starts clamping on the disc. The bones will pinch the disc. Well, usually when the bones pinch the disc, it will actually pinch one of these nerves. And since S1 and S4 branches itself into a branch and create the sciatic nerve, usually it's either pinched in this area, or it get pinched by the inflamed pelvis, or it get pinched by the actual muscle that's in the thigh, and this causes a excruciating shooting pain through your legs. Sometimes it can go through your arms. It can be numbness in your fingertips. You can feel this everywhere throughout your body, because this is a main nerve, and it's actually connected to the vagus nerve too, if we want to be honest, which is the 10th cranial nerve that's in your brain. So in order for you to really fix this disease, you're going to have to bring hydration actually to the spinal column. And the best way to bring hydration to the spinal column is by hydrating the cells. Even though that these are hard calcium matrix, or what we call bones, bones are still made of cells. Fingernails is made of cells. Your whole entire body is made of cells. You have different types of cells depending on the environment and cultural medium, or the gene expressions that makes up a nose cell, a ear cell, a penis cell, a vagina cell, an eye cell, depending on where they at in the culture medium. So if these are nothing but cells, and we know that cells need water, H3O to be exact, from H3O2 or H2O, it don't matter, then you need to hydrate the body. You need to bring more electrolytes in the body. Also, we dealing with the bone calcium matrix too. So what deals with the bone calcium matrix is something called calcitonin. And calcitonin is actually made by the parathyroid. So we need to go after the parathyroid as well. So if I was you, by so far, if you ask me what you need, you're going to need the actual geogenetic therapeutic package from off the site, because you need to go after the parathyroid. You also need to go after the ear, move that lymph. You can do natural things like rebounding that will help you move the lymph. You can do things like jump roping that'll help you move the lymph, move your lymphatic system. Another thing is called skin brushing towards the kidneys, not towards the heart. That'll help you move your lymphatic system. If you actually do alternate hot and cold showers, get in the shower, let it be warm for 5 minutes, and then the last 2 minutes before you get out, turn it completely cold. That'll help you move the lymphatic system as well. And notice I ain't even mentioned the herb yet. These are just all natural things that you can do at your house right now to help you do these things. And it's another thing called the low hanging head method, where you will get on the bed or get on the table, and you will put your head at the end of the table, table, and you will lean your head all the way back and stretch your neck. And as you stretch your neck, you will lift your arms up, and then you'll bring your arms down and bring your head up. This will actually take a lot of pressure off the spinal column and maybe move the L5 and the L4 to get that disc to breathe again. You see what I'm saying? And another thing with the sciatic nerve, you can do a heel toe method. Google these things. These things will pop straight up, and you can go to YouTube University. They show you this stuff on YouTube for free. And this is not even mentioned in the herbs. Now, if you want to get into herbs, I would say get into things like turmeric or curcumin. You're going to need that. Ginger root. It's another one called boswellia. That's another good herb. Enzymes from the papaya, what you would call bromelium. These are all good things that will help grow the bone back. These are things that will help regulate the nerves. For the nerves, you got blue vervain. Blue vervain is very, very good for the nerves. Ashwagandha is very good for the nerves and the autonomic nervous system, or what we call the adrenal gland. Bugleweed. Bugleweed is very, very good for the nerves. Lily of the Valley herb, which has been hard to find. I ain't been able to find Lily of the Valley in like 4 months, y'all. All of these things are good for the nerves. But as far as you talking about right now, you talking about, man, you got a lot going on. You talking about gastritis, meaning you have to cleanse the gut. And usually we use Cascara Grande for the gut. You can use actually slippery ambark for the gut. That's very good for the gut. To actually alkalize the gut, you can use marshmallow root. Marshmallow root is very alkaline when it comes to the gut. You got another one a lot of people disagree with, but the more and more I use this, I'm telling you, I'm an experiencer. Remember, not an educator. Purple corn silk ears. Purple corn silk ears, it works wonders. It's alkaline as hell. A lot of people, you talking about purple corn. Man, them ears to that purple corn, man, using them, man, I'm telling you, it's hella alkalizing. Do these things as a tea. You can alkalize your whole entire gut, bring all of that inflammation back out of the gut, get rid of that mucus that's in the gut. And the good thing I love about Cascara Grande is that not only does it tones the cells of the gut, it strengthens the cells of the gut, and it cleanses the gut cells simultaneously. So that's what you need. You need something that's going to tone, you need something that's going to strengthen, and you need something that's going to cleanse and astringe the cell at the same time. So if you want to rebuild gut tissues, Cascara Grande is very, very good for the gut. And then you need to poop and get all of the feces out. You probably got a bunch of different types of solidification and calcification on the bile duct wall. So you need to hydrate to break these things up. You sound super acidic and you sound very hydrated, Queen. I'm just keeping it honest with you. We talked about the sinus issues. If you cleanse the gut, you will cleanse the sinus issues too. Your sinus cavities, the maxillary cavities will not be so compacted with mucus. We have to remember that we are bilateral human vehicles, and these bilateral bodies are actually regulated by what you would call biometric pressure of the earth and of the atmosphere, or what we call of the dome. So based off of where the sun and the moon is, and based off of how much pressure is, or anionic pressure is built up in the atmosphere, that will actually bring pressure to the lymph of your body. Remember, your body is 2/3 of your body is water, and 99% of your body have water molecules. Let me say that again. 2/3 of your body is made up of water, and 99.9% of the molecules in your body is made up of water. So if we're gonna be technical here, 99% of your body is water. And all of the cells function by water in your body. So when there's different types of pressure and gas in the air, it will mess with the flow of your lymphatic system and the flow of the circulatory system, or what you would call the blood, even the way that your melanin neurotransmitters communicate with itself by way of the sun. So we have to, when you start talking about holistic healing, we have to take everything into factor, y'all. Everything got to be taken into factor. Everything. All right, so we talked about the vestibular system. We talked about the semicircular canals, the endolymph. We talked about the apparatus. We talked about how it messes up the eyes, and it messes up the eyes and basically throw you out of frequencies with your joint movement. We talked about the nerve damage. I gave you all the herbs for that. And we talked about the sciatic nerve, how to get that back right. And you might have Helicobacter pylori too. And the thing about Helicobacter pylori, or what you call H. pylori, is H. pylori does something magnificent to the body. And a lot of people, and again, textbooks, they tell you that H. pylori is very, very bad. But H. pylori is not a bad bacteria. H. pylori is only bad when it goes to a different part of the body that is not supposed to be in. H. pylori is bad when it's in the stomach. Helicobacter is not bad when it's actually in the duodenum intestinal wall. overall, it's bad when it gets in the stomach. And the reason why it's bad when it gets in the stomach is because it creates an enzyme, and this enzyme actually creates something you would call sodium bicarbonate, and it creates ammonia. And sodium bicarbonate and ammonia is an alkalizing enzymic reaction. So it literally alkalizes the actual hydrochloric acid in your stomach, and this creates tears and tissues into the stomach lining, and this create ulcers. So that's the reason why it's bad. But if you look at the duodenum is the uptake of all the nutrients and the minerals, whether we're talking about macro minerals or micro minerals. So it does a good job when it's producing ammonia and producing sodium bicarbonate inside of the stomach. I mean, not inside the stomach, but inside the duodenum, which is small intestinal tract. Let me show y'all what I'm talking about. Matter of fact, it's better if I just show you. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. I'm messing up my paper. All right, so I'm gonna keep this up. So look, when you look at the stomach, right? Let me take this off real fast. Let me take this liver out. All right, so you see the stomach. This is the stomach. Now, when Helicobacter pylori gets itself in the stomach, it starts chewing away at the stomach lining. This is the fungus of the stomach. All right? This is the atrium of the stomach. When it gets to the fungus in the body of the stomach, what happens is when it's eating, the enzymes it produces from its eating, it actually produces these enzymes that end up literally making urea. All right? This enzyme is called urease. Y'all say that with me, urease or urease. That's the enzyme. Y'all saying y'all can't hear me? Can y'all hear me now? Okay, okay, we good. Okay, good. So what I was talking about, when Helicobacter pylori gets in the actual fungus of the stomach, the fungus is where my middle finger's at right now. That's the fungus of the stomach. This is the atrium of the stomach. This is the body of the stomach. So when Helicobacter, or what you call H. pylori, gets inside the stomach, it starts to eat. When it starts to eat, it creates an enzyme called urease. And what urease actually end up creating when it goes through its metabolic process, it end up creating what you would call something called ammonia and something called sodium bicarbonate. And what sodium bicarbonate and what ammonia does is it's a buffering system to acids. So imagine your stomach creating acids, and these acids turn into hydrochloric acid. This hydrochloric acid turn into something called pepsinogen or pepsin, and pepsin is supposed to break down what you would call chloroplast protein. And this is basically the protein that comes from your vegetables. Imagine you need acids to break down these hot proteins, or what we'll call simple amino acid structures. But then you got Helicobacter pylori, H. pylori, in the stomach creating a urea enzyme called urease. And this shit is breaking down into an ammonia and sodium bicarbonate, buffering out the acid. This back and forth is going to create ulcers, and then the ulcers start getting into the lining because it chews away at the lining of the stomach. And once it chews away at the lining of the stomach, now you have leaky gut and you have ulcers. So it's bad when it's in the stomach. But let me show you what it does when it's actually in the duodenum. So this is the transverse colon. This is the duodenum right here. This is the opening door to a duodenum. The duodenum is connected to the gallbladder and the pancreas, and is connected to the liver. Well, when Helicobacter is in its right place, which is inside of the duodenum, this little 9-inch intestinal tract right here, it actually helps alkaline the actual food before it goes into the bloodstream. So it does an amazing job when it's in the duodenum. But when the bacteria is in the wrong location, it causes complications and it causes problems. So we have to quit demonizing bacteria like bacteria is a bad thing. No, the environment and the location of bacteria is the bad thing. Same thing with acids. We have to quit demonizing acids as acid is a bad thing. No, the location of acids and where it's at in the body is a bad thing. And that's the same thing with everything. We have to change the textbooks, family, because we have been taught this stuff all wrong and all backwards, and we are dying from it. Literally, we are dying from these things. If y'all got what I'm saying so far, type in some 9s. I can't imagine what cheese does to the digestive system. I'm going to do a whole video on that, because cheese go through something called putrefaction. So when you look at fruits go through something called fermentation. Too much fermentation is bad for the system, though. But when you look at dairy products and you look at things called proteins or things that's called meat and cheese, these things go through putrefaction in the cells. It gums up in the cells. And when it gums up in the cells, it literally blocks what you would call the epithelial gut layer lining of the cells. And it will block the goblet cells of the stomach. And literally all of your lymphatic lymph nodes are in your gut. Let me show you. Look at this gut, y'all. This is the gut right here. Look at all of these lymph nodes. This is nothing but lymph nodes. Let me see if I can hold the mic and do it like this. This is all lymph nodes. These little bitty yellow dots you see that? This is called the GOAT. The GOAT stands for gut-associated lymphatic tissues. Gut-associated lymphatic tissues are what they call the GOAT. All of these lymph nodes become backed up and you become interstitially stagnated when you eat dairy products. That's why when you eat dairy products, you get this mucosal response immediately. You start getting a cough, you start getting a snotty nose, you start expectorating everywhere. That's because of this right here. You starting to block up where actually the lymph vessels start from. If everything start from the gut, when you're an embryo, the first thing you grow, other than your nervous system and your gut and what you would call the primitive gut lining, or what you would call the primitive gut tube, the only thing else that's created at the same time is what you would call the lymphatic sac. So the lymphatic system, the nervous system, and the gut is all created simultaneously when you're an embryo after conception, y'all. You see what I'm saying? So if you look at the gut, all this is called the lymphatic trunk. All of the lymphatic associated responding tissues and canals come from the gut. So imagine eating cheese and dairy products, things that go through putrefaction, the rotten and death decaying thereof, and it doesn't go through a fermentation process. It gums up and it's called a glomulation. You see that? Or agglutination, I mean. Agglutination of things that act like a glue. And it literally compacts and sticks itself to the gut wall. Sometimes it sticks itself to the jejunum, the ileum, the cecum, the transverse colon, the ascending colon, the descending colon. And it stops blood flow from flowing through them cells. It stops food from being uptaken into the small duodenum by the blood capillaries. It stops lymphatic fluid from moving. Lymphatic system becomes stagnating in these areas. And that's why a lot of people get colon cancer, rectal cancer, and you got to get your stomach taken out and all types of stuff. So we got to watch that as well. So we got to stay away from that. Stay away from dairy products, lactic acid. Stay away from meats, uric acid. Stay away from these things. Carbonic acid. We gotta literally that come from your grains. Carbonic acid. We have to stay away from high carbohydrated foods. And I'm not talking about natural fruits and vegetables. I'm talking about high yielding grains like rice, like spelt, and all that other nasty crap that's in your body. These things will break. Excuse me, y'all. These things will bring on a mucosal response and will completely black up the GOAT. And remember, GOAT stands for gut associated lymphatic tissue. Somebody put that in there. Gut associated lymphatic tissue. Somebody type that in. Gut associated lymphatic tissue. So right now, you need the geogenetic therapeutic package level 3 from off the website. That's what you need so far. And not only do you need the geogenetic therapeutic package level 3 from off the website, matter of fact, let me show you on my website. And then from there, I'm going to tell you how you need to do your diet and how you need to do your liquid intake. Before we get to that, I do want to show y'all this again. July the 30th, I am going to be at the Met Gala in Philly. The Met in Philly. Make sure y'all come through, check me out. Get on Eventbrite. Just type in Yaki Awaken Health and Liberation Tour hosted by Hands On Healing. Get your tickets. VIP is sold out. They actually going to be there. They doing sound bowl healings. It's going to be some food by Sarah from Nourish going to be there. It's going to be popping in that deal. We got Elizabeth coming out to speak about forming. It's going to be powerful. And you know I'm going to be there giving it all. I got an amazing presentation. Y'all know I always bring information that you never heard before. And the reason why I can come with these type of information, because I do my own scientific experiments. I do my own biochemic experiment. I have a laboratory. We have all these things. We're doing all these things. We putting in the work. I done had over hundreds of thousands of clients, y'all. And I only been doing this for about 12 years now. That's how many people done walked through my doors, or how many people that I done got on the phone with, or done flew out to. And I'm not even talking about the celebrity community. I'm just literally talking about everyday people. So I most definitely have the knowledge on what I'm talking about, family. If you need any herbs, y'all, make sure you go to www.yakiawaken.com. Sign up to be a free member. The geogenetic tab is right here inside the tabs. If you want to click a consultation to talk to me, click on the consultation. The herbal store is right here. Any herb you need, we got and we sell. This is the new and approved website. It works like magic, family. But the geogenetic tab is here. The education tab is back up, y'all, and the Eat to Live page is back up, y'all. So if you everybody been asking about the Eat to Live page, is back up, is running in full force, and we have new charts and everything. So y'all gonna love our new charts that's on our document download. We redid all the charts. Everything is back up, family. It's coming together slowly but surely. We just want to make sure this is done right this time, y'all. So make sure you go to www.yakiawaken.com, get your herbs. It's a bunch of free information on here, and check us out, family. Most definitely check us out. All right, I did that commercial. Let's get back to it. All right. So yeah, so what I recommend you get is the Geogenetic Therapeutic Package, Goddess. Now, this is what you need to do. Since you are highly acidic and since you're dealing with Helicobacter pylori being in the wrong place, matter of fact, I didn't even read your whole thing. You still got stuff going on, don't you? Hold on, family. Yeah, she still got stuff going on. I ain't even read everything. Okay, hold on, y'all. She still got more. I had to turn it around. She said, I already have PCOS. That stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. So ovarian syndrome. So she have poly means many, cis means basically tumors or pockets or trash bags that's full of toxemia. Syndrome just mean it's a disorder. So she, and ovarian is where it's at. So they own her ovaries. It says in her pituitary gland levels are high. That will make sense because your pituitary actually regulates your estrogen or your estrogen, your pregnenolone, and your progesterone. If you look at the pituitary gland actually governs the reproductive part of a man and woman. So that makes sense that it's high like that. So the thing that I know that's good for the pituitary gland is berries. I can't say it enough. I always tell you to go berry crazy. Not very crazy, but berry crazy. You got your blackberries, your blueberries, you got your cherries, you got grapes. Grapes are act as a berries. You have your saw palmetto berries, you have your consadra berries, you have your vitex, or what you would call chase berries, you have juniper berries. All this stuff is grown on my land naturally too, y'all. Have y'all been liking my former videos, me showing y'all pictures of my land and stuff? Give me some nines and I keep posting stuff like that. It look amazing. It look totally different from last week, y'all. We've been really putting in work. That's why y'all ain't been seeing me for real. I've been on that farm, man. I love farming. But anyways, you're gonna get on berries. That's very, very good for the actual pineal gland. And we have something on the site called the Essential Glandular Kit that's going to go after the glandular highway, open up the glands, and help them expectorate all their mucus and all their acids out of them. You just highly acidic, and not only is you highly acidic, your pituitary is off, and usually when your pituitary is off, that means your pineal gland is off, and the hypothalamus gland is off, and the hippocampus. So you need to cleanse the entire glandular highway, and remember that your sexual hormones is created by cholesterol. And I bet you your cholesterol, your HDL, your LDL, and your VLDL is very, very high. And remember, cholesterol is made and synthesized by the sun and vitamin D, by the tyrosine, or what you would call the parathyroid and the thyroid. So this go back to the sun too. You need to get sunlight. Get sunlight. Stimulate the pineal gland. I mean, well, you don't need your pineal number is hard, so you don't need no stimulation. You need to bring it into a hypo to balance it out. So berries will regulate the pineal gland. Once you regulate the pineal and the pituitary gland, you will actually be able to regulate your sexual hormones. But it's impossible to regulate the sexual hormones with your cholesterol being so high, because the actual cholesterol is what makes your sexual hormones. You don't believe me? Just look this stuff up. So you're producing too much estrogen. So that means you need to quit drinking out of bottled waters. Bottled waters have a bunch of estrogen in it. You don't need to be eating any soy products. Soy products have a bunch of estrogen in it. Also, you don't need to be eating any dairy products. Dairy products, fermentation of dairy products brings on high yielding estrogen or estrogen. And you need to stay away from that, and stay away from junk foods, because junk foods is going to bring on fats. When you bring on fats, your body actually produces something called phytoestrogen. So get rid of a bunch of overweighted belly fat. Make sure you're not drinking from any bottled waters. Use glass waters if you can, spring water at that. I prefer H3O2 over H2O any day, so get on your fruit juices and your vegetable juices. You see what I'm saying? Make sure that you burning fat, metabolizing fats. You need to walk at least 3,000 steps a day. 3,000 steps a day just to burn fat and to keep your metabolism up. You need to get that thyroid back online. Once you get that thyroid back online, that's going to automatically put the pituitary and what you would call the adrenal glands and the pineal gland in check. And once these things are regulated, then you won't be producing so much estrogen. You have to remember that estrogen is a cellular proliferator, meaning it grows shit. That's the reason why when a woman comes into her cycle, she starts growing hips, her breast starts getting bigger. That's estrogen actually moving and maturing her body, growing her body for she can get ready to conceive and push a baby out through her vaginal canal. That's what estrogen do. It grows things, and it works with L-arginine. And L-arginine is another cellular proliferator. So if you want to be growing cysts, pimples, and having outbreaks everywhere, estrogen and arginine is the way to go. If you want to reverse these things, stay away from it, heal the body. You heal the body by letting the body expectorate and do its natural cleansing mechanism. You help it by getting on all fruits to hydrate the body, open up the fontanelle, or what we call the pathway of elimination, or alternative route of elimination pathway, to help these pathways, these NRF2 pathways open up. And once these eliminatory pathways open up, now you can expectorate and get the mucus and get the acids and the toxemia and the dead cells out of the body. And this will bring on the regulation of your glands again. And now you're producing more pregnenolone and progesterone than estrogen, and you got your body back. All right. I know that was a lot, y'all. It says, I feel like it has something to do with somewhat linked. All of them are linked. The link to this is acids, queen. You are suffering with metabolic acidosis. And I'm going to show you what to do. It's in January 23, I started getting neck pains. Now my back hurt, and I get lower back pains when I carry bags or when I try to wash my hair. That's still dealing with the L4 and L5 like we talked about before. 2 weeks ago, my legs started numbing. I had to go to the ER and the doctors multiple times. They said I had a herniated disc. I already knew you had a herniated disc. I read that from the first one. What can I do? Can you get me something to help me out? So what I recommend you do is get the Geogenetic Therapeutic Package Level 3 from the site. If it's too expensive, check out through Sezzle. Sezzle will actually give you a payment plan. All right. Now, what you need to do is you need to go on a high fruit diet. Since I see that you are going through these stomach issues, that means you're going to have a fermentation issue. So since you're going to have a fermentation issue, I don't want to just put you on all fruits. This is what I want to do. I want to put you on 70% organic fruits, and then I want to put you on 30% organic vegetable matter, all raw. If I was you, I wouldn't cook anything, because when you cook these things, you're going to cook the enzymes out of the fruits and out of the vegetables, and you need these enzymes to bring in the phytonutrients and the phytochemicals into your body to bring you into a balance of homeostasis. So this is going to be an all raw diet. If you look at the Geogenetic Therapeutic Package Level 3, it lasts 14 weeks. 14 weeks is roughly about 3.5 months. So for this entire 3.5 months, you're going to be on a raw diet. While you on this raw diet, you want a 70% organic fruit and the 30% organic vegetable matter. Now I need you to get into the liquids. Once you get into the liquids, we need you to have at least, I would say, 45 ounces of liquids a day. Don't do 60. Do not do 60 because you already having circulatory problems and numbing problems. We don't need you getting edemic, and that's just too much freaking H2O or H3O2 of the day, and that will swell you up. So I'm thinking, and then plus you eating raw fruits and vegetables that's full of water anyway. You finna literally eat your water. So you about gonna be at 60 ounces a day anyway because you're eating natural fruits and vegetables. Plus I'm finna put you on a 45 liquid restriction, meaning you only gonna be drinking 45 ounces of liquid a day. Now I want to do some math here. Out of that 45 ounces of liquid, you're gonna take 20 ounces of that, and you're gonna break those 20 ounces up into 10 ounces each. You're gonna drink 10 ounces of fruit juice a day and 10 ounces of dark leafy green vegetables a day. All right, that's going to equal 20 ounces out of that 45 ounces. With the other 25 ounces, you're going to drink natural spring water, H2O. All right, so you got 20 ounces of H3O2, but you break it at 20 ounces of H3O2 into half, and you're going to do half fruit, half vegetable, dark leafy greens. Then with the 25 ounces, you're going to do nothing but spring water, natural spring water, natural alkaline spring water, not touched or made by man. That equals 45 ounces of liquid a day. So you want a 70-30 diet, 70% fruit, 30% vegetable, all organic, and you're on a 45 liquid intake 2025, 20% fruit juice and vegetable juice, and then 25% nothing but H2O spring water. Now with that, we're going to need you to have motion. So I see that you have tingling. So you need to, and you have numbness. You need to bring the circulation and the circulatory system up. You need to be walking try your hardest to walk 3,000 steps a day. 3,000 steps. That's all I'm asking. Make sure that you invest in a sauna, a hot sauna, a steam sauna. You can buy these things for $200 off of Amazon and get in that sauna at least 25 minutes a day. All right. You need to buy a skin brush. You can get a skin brush from off Amazon for $7.99. Make sure that you skin brushing and you brushing towards the kidneys and you not brushing towards the heart. Also, remember I was talking about the alternate showers, hot and cold showers, getting that shower for 5 minutes warm, and then the last 2 minutes when you finna get out, turn it as cold as you can stand it. This will actually jumpstart the adrenal glands, and it will make the circulatory system move, and that's a byproduct of making the lymphatic system move. Another one is called neurolymphatic massages. Make sure that you're getting the neurolymphatic points. Get your significant other, your children, anybody that's willing to help you, and have them start doing clockwise neurolymphatic massages, circular neurolymphatic massages. Another thing, to relieve pressure from your vertebrae, you need to do the hanging low head method that I was talking about. Get at the edge of the bed, hang your head out the bed and let it stretch your neck. Do that for 5 seconds by Mississippi, and then bring your arms up and bring it all the way back up and do it again. Do 30 of those. Do 30 of those. Just 30 reps of those. Another one is the lifting. It's called the heel and leg exercise, where you literally straighten out your heels and bring your feet as straight to the ceiling as possible, and you literally sit straight up as possible and you just lift your leg up. That will bring a lot of pressure off that sciatic nerve. All right, if you do all these things, you'll be good. So that's what I recommend. Do anybody, I know this is a long case, y'all, and we getting through it, but if anybody got any type of questions so far for this particular case, y'all can ask them now. And if not, we're going to move on to the next one. And since this one took so long, I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to open up the phone lines, because I know that took a long, but she had a lot going on, y'all, so I had to get through that. Any questions so far concerning her case? Any questions so far? I love y'all too. And I gave you all the herbs you need. If you didn't want to get my package, goddess, I gave you the herbs probably like 30 minutes ago. You can't buy the book yet, Marcus, because the book ain't out yet. Yes, spring water. I pick H3O2 over H2O any day, but I'm not knocking H2O. I still drink water every now and then. You can email me at orders@yakiawaken.com, or I'm going to put that in the thing. orders@yakiawaken.com. I don't inbox people. I don't respond to DMs and none of that. That's not me. It's a bunch of scammers out here using my name and scamming people for thousands of dollars. The only way you can reach me is by calling my warehouse or hitting this email number, and you'll talk to brother Bernard. We don't sell products outside the website. If it ain't www.yakiawaken.com, it ain't me. I would never ask you to send me money through Cash App. I don't even use Cash App. I would never ask you to send me money through a personal PayPal. I don't use that. I only use my website for any of my products and consultations. If somebody responding back to you, I can promise you it's not Yaki, it's somebody else. And there's hundreds and hundreds of people out here pretending to be me scamming y'all. So y'all be very, very careful. And I see y'all ain't got no questions about this particular one, so we're going to move on to the next one. Matter of fact, well, that was long enough. I'm going to open up the phone lines, y'all. I'm opening up the phone lines. Before I open up the phone lines, family, if y'all be calling back, y'all cannot be calling call back to back while people are trying to ask their questions, okay, family? If y'all understand that, type in some nines. Once somebody get on the phone, let it rest and let us talk to them so we can hear what they got to say. If y'all understand that, type of some nines. That way, if I just cut the live short, I won't feel bad. It says, can your 3 bitters heal clear urine? Can your 3 bitters heal clear urine? So that's what I'm saying. We don't believe in the word Cure, heal, none of that. The body already have a self-healing mechanism. So or you asking, can the three bitters help come detoxify and get them kidneys and adrenals online? And once you get the kidneys and adrenals online, you're able to actually urinate out toxemia, and that will and the byproduct of that will be changing your urine. Yes, they will. But I want to stay away from them words. That's they words. Let them use them words. Cure and heal. Our body, nothing is wrong with our body. Something is wrong with our bodies in this environment that they have created. They have created an environment that our cells are failing in. We need to start creating environments that our cells thrive in. When your cells are thriving, there's nothing need to be cured or healed. Your body go through a detoxification mechanism every single second and hour of the day that it have toxemia built up in it. From that natural healing, you will get symptoms. These symptoms are not symptoms of disease, but they're symptoms of the body having a natural capability of rehabilitating and regenerating itself through cleansing. We have just been taught that the rehabilitation and that the restoration and that the rejuvenation of the cells, these symptoms that it called, we have been programmed to believe that these symptoms is disease when they're not. So it's just, I want to stop using certain words for we can change the programming. Y'all get me? But we can just change the perception. Because when you change the perception, you change your life. Because your perception is your belief. And based off of your belief, that's how you act out reality. You see what I'm saying? All right, I'm glad y'all got that. All right, let me put this number up here, y'all. Y'all typed in some nines, y'all. Please don't let me down, because y'all be being mad disrespectful. It's straight up. Y'all see the phone number, y'all. Go hit me up, 708-831-2335. Let me plug this mug in. 708-831-2335. That ourselves thriving. Peace, 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 love, light, and healing. Peace, peace. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. What's your name, brother?
My name's Zay.
How you feeling, Zay?
How you doing? I'm pretty good, pretty good. Had a good day today, man. But I got a question, man.
Can y'all hold on? Let me make sure they can hear you. Can y'all hear the brother Zay? If y'all can hear the brother Zay, type in some nines real quick. If y'all can hear the brother Zay, type in some nines. Say something to him, Zay. Let's make sure they hear you.
Yo. Can y'all hear me?
Okay, they said they can hear you, brother. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. So I got a question, man, about this hepatitis B shot for infants. Can you please explain why we should never do that?
All right, so me personally, I would never get a shot, period. But the thing about the hepatitis B, when you really get deep into the hepatitis B, you will see where it was created at. The hepatitis B shot was actually created in Fort Detrick military base in 1967. They didn't start giving it to general population until 1980. Then you will see they started their first shot in New York. They went from New York to San Francisco, California. They went from San Francisco, California to the Midwest in St. Louis, Missouri. When they was giving out this hepatitis B shot, notice that's when the AIDS epidemic had finally broke out and came loose. So, there's a bunch of evidence that back up that actual shot is what started the HIV AIDS industry. So I wouldn't get it just because of that alone. Also, I wouldn't get it because when you actually start looking at the ingredients of these things, they have a bunch of mercury in them. They have a lot of aluminum in them. They have leads in them. And they have a bunch of particles that come from the kidneys of fetuses, that comes from the lung tissues of fetuses. And our body is not made to be carnivores, especially not of each other. So you start seeing our body reacting different to these type of things. So to get into it without getting my channel shut down, that's what I would say. So I'm against anything unnatural. Now, I'm not an extremist, though. If I get shot, I'm going to the hospital because I need to get surgery. They got to pull the bullet out. They got to stop the bleeding or I'll bleed out. So I'm not an extremist, but I'm not stupid either. And I'm not finna go get nothing that my body already naturally does on its own. That should let you know that these things doesn't really help the body if your body already naturally does what they saying that these things do.
Understood. Got you, man. Because I was trying to tell somebody, that the hepatitis B shot for an infant is not good. Then he went and got the shot anyway, man.
I don't
So I just
believe
thought,
I don't I believe that a baby comes with everything it needs. There's another one to say, well, you need the vitamin K shot because the baby don't have vitamin K. If my body needed vitamin K as an infant, the creator in nature would have gave me vitamin K when I was born. If my body was created for surgery, God would have created my body to have a zipper. Like, we just got to start being simplistic and going into nature and seeing how nature moves. That is your biggest classroom, the breath, and usually like utilizing the breath is your curriculum. So if we got to choose a side, God, that's what I'm saying. If we saying that God made us and God is perfect, God is omnipotent, and if God is magnificent, if God is the all-seeing, the all-knowing, the almighty, and we were created to be in its image and in its likeness, then why would we be created incomplete then? Because if our bodies was created and we missing minerals or we missing vitamin K, that means that we saying God created us incomplete. So we have to start choosing a side. God is either a liar and he hate us, or God loves us and he didn't make no mistake. And if he love us and he ain't make no mistake with us, then we need to start leaning on God's side and quit being programmed to listening to people that's trying to basically kick off depopulation control.
I got you, man. I appreciate you, bro, for answering my question.
Oh, it's all good, brother. All right, peace to you, brother.
All right, peace, bro.
Y'all see the number 708-831-2335. Your body go through a detoxification mechanism every single second.
Call from Shaniqua.
Peace, love and light. Peace, love and light.
To accept, press 1. To send.
Can you hear me? Can y'all see me? Peace.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
They saying,
can you hear me?
Yeah, but they saying they can't hear y'all. Hold on. Can you speak up?
Yeah.
Can y'all hear her?
I'm trying.
Give me 1 second. They saying they can't hear.
Okay.
Okay, y'all can see me. Do y'all hear her? If y'all can hear her, what's your name, Goddess?
Melissa.
Can y'all hear Goddess Melissa? If y'all can, type in some 9s. Keep talking. Let's see if they hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm extra nervous.
Oh, it's okay. You know, there's
I
nothing.
hope y'all can hear me.
There's nothing you need to be nervous about at all. So they say they can hear you. So what's on your mind? Speak your piece.
Okay, I know you talked about this before, but I was just wondering, what do you think, or what would you say is the number one thing I could do, like right away, to help my son? He's a type 1 diabetic. He's 7 years old, and he's been diagnosed since he was 4.
So your son is a type 1 diabetic. He's 7 years old, and he's been diagnosed since he was 4.
Yeah.
Okay, I talk about this a lot. So I want to use the analogy that the body, especially when you get into the pancreas. Let me get a pancreas, and I'll just show you real fast. Hold on.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. All right, so I got a pancreas right here. Look at the screen. So this is the pancreas right here. Now, when you look at the pancreas have 4 types of cells in it. It's actually a mechanism called the islets of Langerhans inside of the pancreas, right? And inside of the islets of Langerhans, you got 4 cells that's produced. You have the alpha cells, you have the beta cells, and you have the delta cells, and then you have another cell that's called somatostatin, right? So the alpha cells is actually what produces a hormone called glucagon, right? And then glucagon is a hormone that brings up glucose in the blood. So when glucagon turn on by the alpha cells, it uptakes glucose in the blood, and glucose run into the bloodstream. And then you have something called the beta cells that actually produces something called insulin. Insulin is actually used as a key mechanism to unlock the door to bring in what you will call glucose by way of glucagon. You get what I'm saying? So glucagon raises the blood sugar. That's the alpha cells. The beta cells produces insulin. Insulin then acts as a key and get glucose from glucagon. It turns the key, open up the cellular membrane, and it drops glucose off in the cell. Then the cell literally eats glucose and then metabolize it. It goes through something called the Krebs cycle. From there, basically water hits and then H2O formed, and then H3O2 is formed, and then CO2 is formed, and then it creates something called ATP. And this is how you get your energy currency by the mitochondria. It's called adenosine triphosphate. So they will say that you need glucagon to get your essential energy from your food. Now you have another sugar called fructose, which is different than glucose. You have another one that's called galactose, which is different from fructose and glucose. All of these are called monosaccharides. So galactose and fructose take a different route. It don't need the pancreas. So when you have diabetes 1 or diabetes mellitus, you need insulin because insulin is not communicating with the cells right, and is not acting as a key to unlock the actual cellular membrane to allow glucose in. So in order for us to fix it, we need to give the pancreas a rest. The best way to give the pancreas a rest is to eat a all fructose diet, not glucose. Now, I understand that some fruits come with glucose because you have some people say, well, fruits got glucose in it too. Yes, a very small amount. They have a high amount of fructose. Fructose take a lipid route. They go the liver way. That's why they say a bunch of fruits will corrode the liver, even though it won't. A bunch of fructose that's been very highly processed will, though. So if you eat nothing but fruit while you have diabetes mellitus 1, you can actually give the pancreas a rest because the fructose will take a different route and it will infuse itself into the cells, and it don't need the pancreas to do that. So while you on an all fruit diet, you actually giving the pancreas a rest. You're giving the alpha cells, you're giving the beta cells, and the delta cells a rest. Why you giving it a rest? While you're on an all fruit diet, the sugar, the glycemic index will rise a little bit. You will see the sugar rise, but it will regulate itself out. So while you're giving it a rest, you'll be taking herbs to actually cleanse out the pancreas and actually restore the autonomic nervous system, which communicates with the pancreas. And then you will see within 30 days to 120 days, what happens is the pancreas will fully restore itself. And then you can actually start eating glucose again, and glucose can be used by insulin and go inside of the cells. So what I'm saying is, it sounds crazy, but a all fruit diet can actually reverse what they call diabetes mellitus 1. And I'm not telling you this from a person that read a book. I'm not telling you this from a person that just like to speak out the side of his neck. I am telling you this from a person that have helped the body that have helped hundreds of people, rid their body of hyperglycemia 1 through an all fruit diet and with herbs that have the clinical trials and testimonies. I have them on my Instagram right now. Just go to my Instagram and scroll down. There's a lady on there that was insulin dependent that's not on the insulin pen anymore. There's a man on there that was at his doctor. He's not on the insulin pen anymore. His AC1 levels dropped, and he don't even take insulin anymore. So we have plenty of healing testimonies showing that really do work. And it sounds crazy, but that's the reason why I'm saying that they need to change the medical books, because in the medical books, they teach you that fructose actually can cause this hyperglycemia because of high sugar content. But we seeing from experience, and we seeing that it doesn't. So that means that the books is wrong.
Right.
That's why we have to change our ideology and change our perception. So if you're dealing with that, I have something called the pancreas support kit on the website. What I would do if it was me, I would buy my pancreas support kit and I will put him on an all fruit diet, but don't juice the grapes though. Now it's something about them grapes that I haven't figured out yet, but when you do juice the grapes and you are diabetic, it does raises the blood sugar. Grapes raise that blood sugar in bananas. So I would not recommend you juicing grapes when you're trying to heal of diabetes mellitus 1, and I would not recommend you eating bananas.
Okay, and so he takes Novolog 3 times a day and Lantus before night, before bedtime.
Okay, is the Novolog connected to his skin? Did they actually give him a pen inserted in his skin?
No, I have to give him a pen,
So you have to give it to him. So what I would do if I was you, I would call your doctor and I would ask them for a weaning process. For real, ask them for a weaning process. Me, I can't tell you a weaning process, and I show when we do it here on live, they come lock my ass up. They looking for a reason to lock me up. I'm telling you. So, but what I would do is I would call the doctors if that was me and my son, that was me, and I asked them for a weaning process, and I would do a natural way. That's what I would do.
Okay, thank you so much, and that's what I really want to do. So
okay, so don't be. We have to change our perception. That's all I'm saying. Just change your perception, and it will change the way you look at disease.
Okay, Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, bye.
I'm trying to fix it, y'all. Y'all saying it's super low. I'm trying to fix it. Let me see if I can turn it up in here. From that natural healing, you will get symptoms. These symptoms are not symptoms of disease, but they're symptoms of the body having a natural capability of rehabilitating and regenerating itself through cleansing. We have just been taught the rehabilitation and that the restoration. Peace, love, light, healer, peace, love, light, healer, peace to the gods, peace to the earth.
To accept, press 1. To send a...
Can you hear me? Peace. Something going on with these phones, y'all. I'm going to ask some questions on here, too. What y'all got for me? I'm going to ask some questions on here in the comment board, and then we're going to get up out of here. Can the brain heal itself? Every cell in your body can regenerate itself. Miracle Wiley. Every cell in your body has the capability of regenerating itself. Children with epilepsy. We have reversed that by literally marijuana oil, natural CBD oil, the strong cannabis oil. We'll get rid of that. I mean, it works like magic. So anybody that's got children that's suffering with epilepsy, I would say really get into the studying of marijuana oil, cannabis oil, really looking for good cannabis oil, cannabinoids, and go the CBD route. And of course, you got to cleanse out the lymphatic system, and you have to clean out the vertebrae. So I would say the Geogenetic Therapeutic Package Level 1, search cannabis oil. I don't sell cannabis oil, but I got a very, very good connect. I won't say to connect online, but I do got a good connect. So send us an email at orders@yakirawaken.com, and we'll help you out with that. I can hear both loud and clear. Thank you, Renee B, because y'all acting like they can't hear me at all. Very good information. Appreciate you, Goddess Patricia Lewis. Appreciate you. Turn yourself down when talking to a caller. I'll try that next time. I need help to stop smoking. The best way to stop smoking is by actually using something called quassia chips. I noticed quassia chips is what stopped me from smoking. I used to smoke a pack of cigarettes a day and about 20 blunts a day. I was the biggest chain smoker in the universe. I always had either a Newport short or a cool in my mouth, or a blunt in my mouth. This one, everybody was using the Vegas wraps. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And I'm talking about I used to smoke that much. And what stopped me from smoking was actually that, using quassia chips. And that's the reason why I put quassia chips in my 3 bitters. So, 3 bitters. Once you start changing your palate, things that you used to like to do is going to taste nasty to you. What else we got on here? It says how to heal from Kaposi sarcoma. Kaposi sarcoma is skin lesions, and these skin lesions is usually due to acidosis built up into the skin. We usually see that associated with AIDS patients, with people that have a lot of skin cancer, or people that just have very, very systemic metabolic acidosis. So if you look at it, remember, we have to change our perception in the way that we look at dis-ease. Your skin is opening up and pus is literally dripping from these lesions that's coming from your skin. That's actually the body letting you know that it still have a fighting chance and is healing itself. If you look at what's happening there. So I want to give you a round of applause that your body would even form Kaposi sarcoma and open up lesions to get rid of the acid waste in the body built up. If not, you would go septic and you can die of what they would call a bacteria infection, because you go super septic and all the feces get into the bloodstream. So it's a good thing that your body is actually forming these things. But now what you have to do is you have to choose the perception that you want to live by. You're going to go by the perception that this is an actual disease, or is you going to choose the perception that, dang, my body is so intelligent that my skin is giving itself lesions to allow the acids to pour out of my skin. That way I won't have a blowback on my bloodstream and kill myself. So if we're going to go with that perception, which is the best perception, then the question you need to ask yourself is basically, how can I help the body eliminate more acids. And the best way to do that is by going on an all alkaline diet. You need to be doing at least 100, I say 92% fruits. If I was you, I would go 100% fruits. Don't worry about the weight, gain the weight back after you fully recover. But I would do 100% fruits, and I will hydrate the hell out of my body. I would take my liquid intake up to 50 ounces a day. And we're going to do differently here. I would use, out of that 50 ounces, I would use 40 ounces of fruit and vegetables. So out of that 40 ounces, out of that 50 ounces, take 40 ounces, break them in half, 20 ounces a piece. 20 ounces on fruit juices, 20 ounces on vegetable juices. You see that? The other 10 ounces, H2O, spring water. See that everybody got a different case, and everybody have a different type of acid blowback. So you have to give them a different type of methodology and protocol to heal. So your protocol will be different than a lady that had Helicobacter C, because you dealing with extreme acid blowback. It's so extreme that your skin is opening up, forming lesions, and you leaking pus and you leaking lymphatic fluid out of these areas, which is a good thing, because imagine these things staying blocked up inside of the body. That it will burn the hell out of your bloodstream, and you will literally die of acidosis of the bloodstream. So your body is smart. I want to give you another round of applause. See, we have to start looking at these things like it's helping and assisting with the detoxification process, and not like it's hindering us and killing us. There's a different perspective. And again, based off the perspective is actually on, this is how your outcome going to be, whether you heal or you die. Seriously. So you need that. You most definitely need the geogenetic level 3 off the site. That's what I would get immediately. While you waiting on that geogenetic level 3, you need to alkaline the hell out of the body. So you need to do marshmallow root tea, slippery elm tea, and you need to do some cleavers tea. And most definitely get some cleavers and some red clovers. It just cleanse out the blood. And also get some hydrangea root as well to break up any calcification and stagnation that you got inside of the cellular tissues. That's what I do. Geogenetic 3, man, 92% fruit, the other percent vegetables. So 90% fruit matter, 10% vegetable matter, 50% liquid intake. Out of that 50%, take 40%, use that as your H3O. Break that 40% down into 20% fruit juices, 20% dark leafy green vegetable juices, and then 10% of H2O. With that, you need to be doing rebounding. You need to be jump roping. You need to be jogging in the morning. Anything that's going to get you to sweat, because when you sweat, it's going to trip that thyroid, and it's going to have you perspiring. You're going to be getting rid of all that metabolic acid that's inside of your skin. I wouldn't get in the sauna right now, because the sauna will be too hot, and you already have all them lesions on your skin. So it's going to give you some contusions, and it's going to give you very, very bad scarring. So I stay away from the sauna, but you do that and do use some cold showers. That'll help get that lymphatic system moving. And look, I would not block these areas up. If it was me and I had these lesions leaking out all types of pus, I would let them leak until there's no more pus to leak out. I wouldn't be stopping them and blocking them up and stuff like that. So that's what I would do if I was you. Geogenetic therapeutic package level 3, of course. And I would do that diet protocol, that livid protocol that I recommended you. All right, what else we got here? What should I do to grow taller? Brother, if I knew something to do to grow taller, I'd be taller. So shit, I don't know what to tell you. But I know that the pituitary, I'm only 5'6", so that's pretty short. I know that the pituitary gland is in control of your height. So, just thinking automatically, if you heal the pituitary gland, you should be able to grow. But I healed mine and I still didn't grow an inch. So I don't know. It's a bunch of Negroes out here breaking their legs and getting stents put between their shin bones to grow 3 or 4 inches, and you can't walk for a year and you have to relearn how to walk. I'm not going through all of that to be taller. I ain't got no issues pulling on a woman. I ain't got no issues loving myself. I ain't got no issues being the great man I am, and I'm short. So love yourself. That's what I say, brother. Love yourself. Love yourself and love your height. Be you to the fullest and love you while being you. Because I don't know. I don't have a remedy to growing. Now, I do know based off your height will let me know how damaged your pituitary is. And I came out with a damaged pituitary gland because my mama smoked a lot of cigarettes. And my mama used to smoke a lot of cigarettes, especially when she had me. And I believe that's what actually stunted my pituitary growth. And we know that the pituitary gland do govern your height and your water retention. And that's the reason why I did wet the bed when I was younger, and I was short, and I ended up being short. I had a stunted growth. It all makes sense because the smoke that my mama was smoking actually cut off the circulation to my pituitary gland. So that makes sense, but I don't know how to make you taller. They do got them big old shoes now. That's like $800 that all the rappers wearing. That'll put like 2 inches on you. Buy you some big ass shoes, some tall shoes, some big shoes. But yeah, I like it. I didn't embrace my height. I like wearing low shoes, chucks, all of that. I love my shortness, man. So just love yourself, brother. All right, what else we got? Arthritis. George Ramez. You're dealing with arthritis. You have to look at the word reticulate arthur. Arthur means to articulate or arthur. Remove to spin on a axis. Itis means inflammation. What we've been seeing is lately, again, from studying, doing blood analysis, live blood analysis, taking samples from people. I'm in a group full of doctors now that's turning naturopathies that love my work and love what we've been doing. You know, they love my independency too, because I got more freedom to do what they can't do. And we just share information back and forth. What we've been finding out is arthritis is not what we thought it was. Arthritis is the case of unutilized minerals in the fucking body, y'all. It's literally unutilized minerals in the body because your adrenal glands is down, and your adrenal glands is in control of the utilization of minerals and glass properties and liquid crystals in the body. The liquid crystals is what you actually call H3O in the body. That's formed by H3O2, by the way. Wait, look, I have something called H3O2 Water Wars. It's a new presentation I got for y'all. It's gonna shut the internet down next week. I promise you that. But anyways, we noticed that arthritis come from the misplacement of minerals or the unutilized minerals not being used by the liver, not being used by the bloodstream because the autonomic nervous system is down and the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system is not doing its job along with the liquid crystals, which is to move these minerals into the right cells of the body. So guess where they accumulate and find themselves at, y'all? They find themselves between the joints. Imagine minerals, or what you would call crystals. Crystals is glass. So minerals is glass, family. Imagine glass hard as hell that will literally take trillions of pounds per pressure to even break down because these are small molecular particles of minerals. You got to look at a microscope just to see them unless they calcify into a big ass stone or something like calcite does. And this is where you get, uric acid calcite forming stones inside the kidneys and stuff. Then you can see those. But these other ones, they so little, these are nanoparticles. You can't break those. They will coagulate inside of your joints, and literally you start moving your joints around, and it's literally like moving bone on top of glass. Imagine this being nothing but bone and you moving it around like that. Ooh-wee, that hurts. So that's what arthritis is. It's basically when unutilized minerals or be in between your joints and you are moving these joints around, and bone is rubbing against minerals or glass. It hurts like hell. And so to fix arthritis is to fix the issue. The issue is, why is my body not utilizing minerals? Oh, because my adrenal glands is down. How do I bring my adrenal glands back online? You need to basically stimulate them. The best way to see if your adrenals are down or not, check your blood pressure. The top number is systolic. The bottom number is diastolic. The top systolic number is the adrenals. That bottom number, diastolic, is the actual kidneys. So what you need to do is take things that's going to kick on the systolic. All right. Now, look, check this out. Wild yam root. Amazing for that. All right. Wild yam root. Ashwagandha. Amazing for the adrenals. My favorite herbs for the adrenals is fenugreek and licorice root, though. Fenugreek and licorice root will kick them adrenals on like no other, but you bet not have hypertension because you will have a heart attack or stroke. So if you have hypertension, use ashwagandha and use wild yam root. If you don't have high blood pressure, use that fenugreek and licorice root mix. It will blow your mind. If you don't want to do these things yourself and you want a whole system cleanse to just focus on the adrenals, get my adrenal and kidney kit. My kidney and adrenal kit from off my website. My adrenal and kidney kit from off the website is amazing. Other than the 3 bitters and our geogenetics, that's one of our number 1 sellers, showing you that there's a lot of kidney and adrenal issues. Yep. If y'all got that so far, type in some 9s. Type in some 9s. Okay, good. I'm gonna answer one more question, y'all. I'm gonna get up out of here. One more question. I'm gonna get up out of here. Neuropathy. You got to be careful with the neuropathy because neuropathy always get mixed diagnosed as multiple sclerosis too. But when you look at like Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, when you look at Alzheimer's, you look at neuropathy, all these different neurological nerve damaging type of diseases, or what they would say is diseases, and they will say they're autonomic diseases. Usually it's the lymphatic system, or what they will call the immune system, or the immunological system. It's attacking acids that's sitting on top of the nerves. And, you know, the nerves are in it. The nerve cells or the neuron cells are innocent bystanders, and, you know, they get phagocytosized. The phagocytes come in and gobble their asses up, and they end up eating and chewing away at the nerves as well. You see what I'm saying? So whenever you're dealing with neurological diseases and nerve diseases, you're usually dealing with acids that's being built up on the nerve endings. The best way to get rid of acids is about alkalining the body. So go through, cleanse the body. When you cleanse the body, you're going to stimulate the mucosal membrane. When you stimulate that mucosal membrane, mucus will start flowing. When mucus flow, lymph flow. The interstitial of your body will start moving like a living river. You see that? And then you start expectorating all these acids out of the body. And once you expectorate the acids out of the body, you will notice that the neuropathy will leave, and that these nerve damaging particles that you call acids will no longer be in the body. The best way to do that is by regulating your microbiota, or your microbiome, or what we call the gut bacteria. Also eating an alkaline diet, which is fruits and vegetables raw, not being cooked. You can steam some. Make sure you get a heavy H3O liquid uptake or intake. Increase that to 50 ounces a day, and you will actually need the geogenetic therapeutic package level 1. But if you don't want to do that, you just want to take your own herbs. I gave you a whole list of herbs earlier, but I'll give you some again. Blue vervain is very, very good for the nervous system. Lily of the valley is very, very good for the nervous system. Bugle weed is very, very good for the nervous system. Valerian root is very, very good for the nervous system. These are things that regulates the nerves. They strengthen, they tone, and they cleanse the nerves at the same time. And always throw hydrangea in with all of that, because hydrangea breaks up solidification and calcification. All right, it was nice talking to y'all. I'm glad to be back live. I'll be out of town tomorrow, but I'm going to go live tomorrow as well if I don't do this magnificent podcast. Hopefully the brother hit me back. But if we don't do this podcast tomorrow, I will go live again tomorrow. And I'm going to just try to go live every now and then. Again, family, for those that want to see me live and in action, for those that want to check me out, make sure y'all hit me up, y'all. Hit me up July the 30th. My birthday, July 11th. So this is going to be my birthday gift, y'all. But hit us up July the 30th. I'm going to be at the Mat in Philly. Come check us out in Philly, y'all. Make sure y'all go to Eventbrite to get the tickets. Yaki Awaken Health and Liberation Tour hosted by Hands On Healing, y'all. Come check me out. Also, for those that need any herbs, hit us up at www.yakiawaken.com. We have all types of things on here. We got herbs for sale. We have a bunch of free literature that you can download. Just hit the education tab. All of these things are coming back, y'all. They all coming back. Next, we working on Yaki TV, which we've been working on for years. But y'all know I got played by them people, and they got me for 180. They got me for about 180 racks, y'all. Of course, they did it over 2 years span. They kept getting me till I finally realized, like, man, they ain't gonna give me what I paid for. So I had to move on. Shouts out to Jay Shield. Shouts out to Ray Chantel for building me a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful website that functions and works properly. So make sure y'all hit up Yaki Awaken Herbal Store, www.yakiawaken.com. If you want to get in contact with me, family, if you want to get in contact with me, hit us up at our email at orders@yakiawaken.com. Orders@yakiawaken.com. Remember, I do not respond to DMs. I do not respond to inboxes. I won't be hitting you up asking you, do you want a reading? Because I don't do astrology readings, even though I know a little bit about it. I don't even do that. That's not my strong suit. I only stick to what I know that I dominate in, and that is this health field right here. All right, so you ain't gonna catch me saying, peace, love, would you like a reading today? I don't do that. I'm not finna ask you for $2. I'm not finna ask you for $100. I'm not finna ask you for none of that. I'm the one give away money. I give away stuff. I'm a giver. I'm really not a receiver for real. I'm just learning how to receive. So I'm not going to be asking you for your money or nothing. If I don't direct you towards the website to buy a product, it is not me. I don't conduct any business outside of YakiAwaken.com. If it's anybody sound like me, I don't care if they FaceTime you and they draw a marker on their face, because it's what they doing now. They would draw a 7 on their face and try to look like me, or hurry up and FaceTime and then hang up. That ain't me. I don't do none of that. If it ain't through www.yakiawakened.com, it is not me, family. With that being said, I love y'all. Peace, love, light, and healing. I'll be checking on y'all later, and I will be live tomorrow. And hopefully we keep this going the next day and the next day and the next day. If you want any questions answered, send your questions. Like all these questions, we still got a few to go through, but send all your questions to questions at yakiawaken.com. Questions at yakiawaken.com, and we will go live and we'll answer your questions. We got a lot of things coming up. We're trying to finish up this Netflix before it can be out. I'm trying to finish up this book, but we can have this out no later than August, y'all. I'm working very hard to do that. And then right after the book, we're going to do the classes, y'all. So we working, family. And plus, you know, I'm a foreman now, man. I got the new form lights going on. So if you like the foreman videos, let me know, and we'll keep them coming as well. And I will show y'all how we are we turning 5 acres into nothing but growing foods. It's an amazing thing. And eating from soil to table, family. So I'm excited. We living in good times. We opening up a clinic in Houston. We have a clinic out here too. That will be on the website very soon. I just been super busy. So we gonna open them up as well soon. We went to Houston and I went live, but they cut my live off. So hopefully, I found the video the other day, so I'm going to repost that to show y'all the clinic in Houston. And we're going to open up another clinic in actual Atlanta. And all of these are clinic affiliations. So if you're about your business, if you know what you're talking about, if it won't take me hard to train you and to change your perception on healing the illusion we call disease, and you in a very good traffic area, we will open up a clinic in your area too, and we can be an affiliate. You can be actually an affiliate company, a part of Yaki Awaken. So look, we're trying to do a lot of things, y'all. There's only one of me. I'm building up my team right now. So, you know, hopefully we'll be expanding. That's what I'm manifesting, that I'm saying it. But we a small team doing some major shit, y'all. So just be patient with us. All right, I love y'all. Peace, love, light, and healing. Peace to the guys. Peace to the earth. Peace. Shalom, 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 lakah.